Hey everyone, welcome to Thoughts of Treasures. My name's Connie and this is my craft room. Welcome in. If you guys are new to watching me, please be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button depending on where you're watching from so you don't miss out on any of the videos that I put out. I usually put out about 3 or 4 per week, sometimes less, sometimes more. It just depends on the kind of week we're having. Tonight we are going to be working on this cutie. We've got Christmas in the air coming, you know. It's just around the corner. Blink a couple times and we're right there. So we're going to be working on this tonight. This is our little Santa and reindeer stack. But it says Merry Christmas across the top. Very cute decor for our Christmas season coming up. So I'm going to show you how we're going to get this done. And if you are new to me, yes, I do a lot of wood kits. And this can be yours if you just are interested. Just message me or put in the comments, Merry Christmas. That way I can get back in touch with you whenever I see your comment. So, first things first, if you are new to me, you're going to know that my kits do come in 2 different sizes, you know, intertwined. But this is the top layer is 1/8 inch, the bottom layer is 1/4 inch. So you will see sometimes it's all 1/4, sometimes it's all 1/8, sometimes it does both. Just if you use too much of the heavy wood, then your project just becomes very, very heavy, and well, you know, we don't need all that. Lighter the better, right? So with these smaller pieces, I'm going to stick them, their eyeballs over yonder. We got little Santa's little black eyes over here, and then Rudolph's eyes too. I just use some Dollar Tree. This is painter's tape. I don't think I'd ever use it as painter's tape. It's very sticky. But I'm just going to put all of the colors together. So we got his little nose is going to be black. That's Rudolph. And then as we go on over here, I'm going to put like our little green, our little red. I'm going to put that over here. I just like to put all the pieces together. That way they don't get lost. But you can do however you want to do it. There's no right or wrong to any of this. And it helps kind of hold the pieces down too. Alright, we got Santa's nose. And we do have little Rudolph's inner ears that we're going to do pinkish colored. Let's just put his... I just like having them all down. That way you don't have to put your fingers all in everything. It's okay. Alright, let's move that to the side. There are a lot of pieces to this little guy. We want to make sure what we're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're doing it. So, I think I'm not going to worry about anything else right now. So, this is all one piece. And this is going to be the white of his hat and then the white of his mustache. So we're going to put that over here. Just trying to remember, like, what's going to be white and what's going to be different colors. We're going to do this in red. Put that over there. This is his flesh color. We're going to do this the same color as his nose, so I'm going to put that over here. And then his hat is going to be red. We're going to put that in the red section. And then Rudolph, of course, we're going to have the brown and some kind of tannish color. So we'll just put him over to the side. Now, here is the part with the 1/4 inch wood, and at this time, this is what, October 2025. My 1/4 inch wood does come with a masking on, so you do want to make sure that you remove this. This just protects the wood from the laser, so it doesn't get all singed up and ducky and all that good stuff. So it just comes right off. Now, if there's lots of little intricate pieces, you know, it does take a little bit of time. But you will have to remove this before doing the kit. And I'm just using this little weeding tool. If you got yourself a vinyl machine, you can use that. If not, you can always pick one up at the Dollar Tree, or you can just use your fingernails. I don't have those, so we just go on with this stuff. Now, you will see, look how pretty and nice that is, that on the back, there is also a piece. I don't do the backs of them. However, when you fold over your tape, then, you know, it's going to end up on the back. So, alright, I'm going to start with some nice colored, beautiful black, because we're going to paint the back of this black. I don't know if this is going to be enough black, but we're going to start with this. This is just some simple apple barrel black, so I'm going to do all of my black pieces, which is his eyes and things. So we'll make sure we remember to do that. So I just like to do the back just all one color. It hides a lot of your little flashback marks. Not all lasers do that. The one I currently have at this time does. That's why I said as of October of 2025, because you could be watching this later on. The machine that I have does need to be protected with the wood. So who knows what we're going to do in the future, but right now this is what we have. This video is going to be out there for good. So if you guys are new to me, I do want to welcome you in. Like I said, I do a lot of wood kits, which, you know, oh, another wood kit. No, there's so many fun wood kits out there that, you know, they make great gifts, they make great presents, they make great decorations. So, you know, don't pass them up. They're so much fun to do. You can do paint parties with your friends. You know, there's just a lot of fun things to do with these kits. Now, if I would do a paint party with something or a get-together, I probably would do it more ornament size than something this large, only because it takes up a lot of space. Unless it's only you and maybe your sister or something, or one friend. But if you're going to do like a group of 10 people or something, it does get to be a lot of room. So ornaments are nice and small. This is like 14 inches tall, 12 inches, 13. So I'll measure it for you, but he doesn't look huge width-wise, but his antlers do stick out far. So, but if you want to check out some of my other crafts, you can check out my website at StassiTreasures.com. You can look at the different projects that I've done, and there's my Sydney. And if you're interested in actually looking at the video and how I did it, you can click the link and it'll take you to the actual video. So I do hold live sales every other Sunday. If you're interested in knowing when I have them, on my Facebook page I have the schedule, that's the word, schedule, pinned, and also on my website. Lots of fun things over there. The only thing you can't do is purchase things. You have to do that directly through me for now. Again, October 2025, that's what we're in, right? But who knows what happens in the future. Let me get this painted. Now the front, I don't have to worry about painting, because all of our pieces are going to fit on top, so we don't have to worry about that. But I do want the back nice and dry, so I can put it to the side. I have all kinds of different wood kits available, so this isn't completely dry, but it's good enough. I'm going to get over here to the side for just the time being. We're going to pull over our one tape, and this is why I like it, because, you know, these little pieces can get lost easy. So I'm going to just paint his little eyeballs up, and it just makes it so much easier. You don't have to get, I mean, us crafters love to get down and dirty here, but we don't have to worry so much about getting all this paint on us. You have something that'll hold it. Yes, his nose. I had to think for a second. I'm like, yes, this is Rudolph's nose. You could also do this, and I call it Rudolph. It's just a reindeer. You can do it the red if you want, but I'm going to keep it the black and just do it as a regular reindeer. And just because I'm using certain colors, that does not mean that's what you have to do. I think that is all the black. Let me just make sure I'm checking my pieces. Let me check my list. Checking it twice. Alright, that is that. Let me actually probably put that here for a second. Alright. What do I want to do next? I guess let's do white, but I'm going to clean this off real quick because I don't want it to black on it. Oops. I'm going to get me some white. And of course, I'm going to just simply use the apple barrel. That's all I'm using. So with this, you probably have to do 2 coats depending on what your like is. So we've got this that we're going to do white. We have this that we're going to do white. Just those 2 pieces. I'm just double checking. Yeah, I guess that's it. All right. I thought there was more. So this is the 1/8 inch, and I do like to keep my sides the dark color from the laser. So I'm going to make sure that I'm just a little careful that I'm not just going to go cray and just, you know, start getting paint everywhere. I'm just going to take my time. And I do prefer to use the foam brushes. This is not a requirement. It is just, you know, what I like to use. Some people don't feel comfortable with them. They would rather use a paintbrush. I just, for some reason, have always used the foam brushes, and I kind of just like how they work. To me, they paint better. Much easier to paint with, in my opinion. But some people prefer the actual paintbrush. So I'm just going to keep it a little bit easy so I don't go off the edges. And I do want this to be nice bright white, so it will take a couple coats. Sometimes 2, just depending on the wood and what we got going on. And if you do get your paint on the side, it's not the end of the world. You can either wipe it off, or you can paint over it with your acrylic marker, your Sharpie, just lots of different things you can do. You could sand it off. It's just easier to wipe it, but if it doesn't come off, then you can just use your black acrylic marker. I use these, and they're in my Amazon store. I really do like them. They have a round tip, and they also have the pointed tip. And while this is drying on the first coat, I'm going to go ahead and go over here and do this piece. And again, the same thing. I don't want any of this on the side, so it just may take a little bit. Less is more on your paintbrush. You can also use the makeup sponges if you prefer to use that. I, however, feel that I mean, there are times you need to use them, but my gosh, they can give your arm a workout if you have to do a large area. I just like to get the base coat on and get everything covered. And if you want to rustic this up a little bit, give it a more distressed look, you know, you could just leave it with 1 coat. I, however, do want to keep this a nice, clean. I'm going to use the word clean. Nice, bright, clean color. So I'm definitely going to give this another coat. But yeah, my Amazon store does hold some of the supplies that I do use regularly. If you are interested in checking that out, if you're not sure how an Amazon store works, I can give you a little bit of information while we sit here and paint this. So if you go use my Amazon store link, it'll take you to the items that I use. However, that may not necessarily be what you like. you can then just, veer off, go in your own direction, find what you do want, what you like, but since you're using my link, it kind of connects you. So it gives me a few pennies in my pocket for whatever you do purchase. A lot of people use it as, just like pretty much a little gift to your creator. You spend nothing extra. You're buying what you already need or want, and then the creator or the person that owns the store gets a few pennies. Is it buku bucks? No, man, it's not. No, just a few pennies here and there, and that does add up over time, though. So, but it's nothing extra out of your pocket, kind of like giving gifts and stars on the different platforms. All right, now I'm gonna go back in. We're gonna do a second coat over here. And if I do a third coat, I might sand it down, but we're gonna see how this works. Now you do want to keep careful on this piece because it's only connected over here. So you don't want to be too rough with it. And I do find that I get little foam pieces from the brushes. It's okay, it'll come off. It doesn't dry into the paint, and then I can get it off after the paint is dry. I'll use these foam brushes until they can't be used anymore. But if anybody is looking for my Amazon store link, again, it's on my website. It's also on my Facebook page in my link tree. Have to sand this one after because the paint isn't wanting to take there. So what happens when you do paint on wood? The little fibers of the paint come up, or the wood come up, and it makes it a little bit rough. So sometimes it'll make like a little where the paint doesn't want to stay. I'm gonna let that dry. We're gonna give it a little sanding, and we're gonna try it again. This is always a great piece for your house. So much fun to paint up. And you don't have to rush doing this. I know I'm trying to do a live video here, or a pre-recorded video that looks like it's live, I guess you could say. But, I'm going to try to speed things up so it doesn't take as long. I like to have fun when I craft. I like to enjoy it. I don't want to be rushed. I don't think anybody should be. Crafting should be just something fun to do. If you get stressed about it, or if you got to rush through it, that's never fun. This is going to be the backer piece to our Merry Christmas. Oh, I should have done this in the black, and I will go back and do that. And I forgot something. So, on the back of this, I'm going to paint it black because you're going to see this through the reindeer's antlers. And anything that you see on the back, I want it to be all the same color. This way. going to take the heat tool to this, make sure this is completely dry. I'm going to take my little sander to it. And this is just a Dollar Tree sander. Got the rough side on one and the smoother side on the other. I'm just going to use the smooth side. I don't want to take everything off. I just want to get this fiber smooth down. Put this back in and break it off too. Alright, so again, I'm just going to take my, this has been well loved. I'm going to put one more coat on here. Let's see if our paint will be nice now. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. Sure I got all my spots. Now I'm just going to set this to the side and let it dry on its own. Alright, and then we're going to go over here and just see what we missed too. The third coat usually just completes it off, so second kind of gives it a nice. Third is definitely when you see that bright white start to happen. Let's get down here and then we can turn it. So, if you guys are new and watching this, I do a lot with the wood kits now. This is what I'm into right at the moment. However, I do have lots of other different crafts that I have done in the past, and I do a lot with the Cricut too, so. Put a little more white out here. Probably too much, but just needed a little bit more. So if the Cricut is something you're really, or any vinyl cutting machine, if you're interested in doing that too, I do a lot of that. Just right now with Christmas here, I've been doing a lot with the wood kits because they're just so much fun. I think we're good. One spot there. I'm going to let that set to the side. Not even going to worry about drying it at the moment. Alright, next up, let's get our red done. I think I'm going to use our, oh, do I have another one of these? Oh, let's see what we got here. Yeah, let's use bright red. Let's finish this bottle up. We do have another one just in case. There should be enough in here, but we'll see. And again, this is just apple barrel. I think Santa needs a nice bright hat. Oh, we got the berries too. We need to do that. So we get another foam brush. Now, that's the only thing with foam brushes. You really can't just rinse and reuse like you can with some paint brushes because that paint really gets in there. So I just clean them all at the end of the night. So I use, oops, and you know, if I forget a color, I'll just reuse another one because I just automatically just put them in the water. So sometimes with paint brushes, you can just, you know, clean them out and reuse them. Foam brushes are so hard just to get all the paint out in one little quick sitting. So I'll just use paintbrush or use foam brushes multiple times if I forget a color. Alright, now we're going to get this done. And again, I'm going to use less paint, better, because I don't want to get it all over the sides. And this is also a good one that you can use your makeup sponges with, or any kind of sponge. Pouncer, I do have a couple that I could show you. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I got any over here or not. It's some kind of sort of makeup thing, but it's got a little handle on it. I did get it off of Temu, and they work great too. Again, does take a while. The makeup sponges are easier because, you know, you can just throw them away when you're done. This you do have to clean out, and it does take a while to get that paint out of this sponge. So I'm just going through this, and I'm being careful because, like I said, I don't want to get any on the side. And you do want to be careful. So like the Mary in here, the E, the airy is connected with the Y, but the E is not connected at all. So you do want to be careful. It will be okay once it's on its backer. So you don't have to be, oh, this is going to be frat. No, it's going to be fine. But you want to be careful with it when you're painting it up and gluing it, and, you know, until it gets glued to the backer. That's why it's got the backer, so it's not as fragile. And we'll get to that part. As I say, if you tape anything down onto tape, make sure you remove the tape, not the wood piece from the tape. And I'll show you what I mean. Because, like I said, if I put this on the tape and just ripped it up, that could very easily break off. So you just want to be just a little careful. Back and touch some spots up. So, just like that, so cute. Now I'm going to give my hat a dry. We're going to give it a sand down. Kind of dry. Make sure it's nice and dry. Take my little sponge. oops, into the box. And then let's put our second coat on here. Santa has to have a nice bright red hat. Alright, put them back over here. And I am going to pull this one back over here because there's a piece in there, if that's okay. I'm going to do my little berries. And let's give that a quick dry so I can put a second coat on there. Not everything needs a second coat. It just depends on what you're looking for. You know, it could be fine just like that, but I put a second coat on everything else, so I might as well this. Alright, I think that's it with my red. That's it with my red. Alright, I am going to use, this is my favorite, I have to get some more because it's almost empty, Christmas red. We're going to do our little holly leaf using Christmas green. I say red, I meant green. Christmas green! I did catch that. I did hear myself. Every once in a while I do that. I'm going to take his nose off just so I can make sure I don't hit it with the paintbrush. So now, you know, a lot of people talk about, this is what I do. A lot of people talk about, you know, shading and la da da, you know. I'm not an artist. I know nothing about shading. I know nothing about how to do that. But I will tell you this. When you paint, you can forget to paint some spots and it looks like it's got shading in it. So that's what I'm going to do here. And again, you may not see it up close, but see how it's like, and that's just from painting. So it just looks like it has like a little bit more paint here than over there. And we're going to leave it like that because that's how a leaf is. You could add white into it, and I do try, but I am definitely not a painter or anything of that. I'm a crafter. And I'll show you when it's dry what it looks like. Hold it up. See how it looks just, and I like it like that. And I always do my leaves something similar to that. If it works out, happy accident. If it doesn't, it's okay. Alright, so that was the only thing green we have. Alright, let's work on, I'm gonna use some nutmeg brown for our reindeer's top. This is also, again, this is my favorite brown by Apple Barrel. Need a whole lot. Let's get another. The fun part is getting it all glued together. So let's put some in here. Now, deers can be any color, light, dark, fawn, you know. There's no right or wrong. Don't feel, oh my gosh, you gotta have the same color. No, deer, that's not a deer color. You do you. You know, if you want it to be purple, you do purple. I did daycare for many years, and you know, I learned those kids have fun using their favorite color, so you use your favorite color and do what you want. So we're just gonna keep it. I think it's a perfect color, but You may not think so. Alright, we're going to put that over here. What color is this? What is this? This is his nose. Nose is his ears. Nose is there. Okay. I'm going to get me some. Oh, shoot. Craft catastrophe down. Whoa. Everything's falling. Wait a minute, guys. Hold on. Everything's down. Oh, Lord. Guess that's what you get for piling things up, Connie. All right. Whew. All right, let's see. I think... let's go with some buff. We're going to use some warm buff for his muzzle. And again, this is apple barrel, but it's a multi-surface color. And which way it goes, but that's okay. Multi-surface apple barrels are a little more expensive, but sometimes they have really pretty colors. I'm attracted to the pretty colors. I like the pretty colors. All right, I'm going to try this real quick because I think I'm going to give it a second coat. Coat on here. Okay. That is it for that. Yep. I have to think ahead here. So I think that's going to be really pretty together. It's upside down, but you know. It's going to make a cute reindeer. So we're going to put that to the side. Now we have to work on this little strip. And this is our last strip of colors, and then we can start gluing together. So, what we got here is we've got Santa's nose, Santa's face. We're going to do that in a peach color. This is also going to be, do I have a peach color open? No. That's toasted marshmallow, we don't want that. I thought I had a peach open. Oh, here's one. It's just plain peach. This is also a multi-surface. This is the only brand I can find a pretty peach in that I like for skin tone. I'm not a mixer, so I don't like mixing things. So we're going to do, just move this over to the side a little bit, be careful with it. We're going to do his nose and his face in the peach color. Then we got the ears of the reindeer and the horns, the antlers, not the horns, you know them things. That's drying. We'll do this piece. coat on here. And one last coat on this. And then the fun part of putting it together. And then I'm going to get a really pale pink. This is called Cameo Pink. Again, Apple Barrel. I think pretty much use Apple Barrel and Folk Art are two of my go-to paints. They don't need to be expensive, so you know, if you use the more expensive paints, ooh, they are thicker, so you know, you do less coats, but it all works. So I'm just going to do the ears, this nice pretty pink. This is the inside of his ears. And then see if I do see a second coat on there. And good. I think I'm good with that. I don't want it to be too bright, so we're good with that. Then the last thing we're going to do is I am going to use some burnt umber. This is a nice, it's a very, very dark brown. Love it. I think it's going to be perfect for the antlers, so we're going to put some of that on here. Let's see if I try to use this plate up and not use another plate. It is like a chocolatey brown. Let's not stick my arm in. Let me turn this around. And then I have to do the back of that one piece, so we'll do that too before we glue it together. I want to get all the painting done. See, that's why I said if you have this as like a kit to do with friends, you know, a bunch of people, it's just, this is just my area. It takes a lot of space. I think that's good. We'll let that dry. All right, let me put these away real quick. Pinky goes there. Peachy goes there. That goes over here. And burnt umber goes down here. Now I can move this over here because I'm going to get my black back out. Come on. Stubborn. It wants to be stubborn. Right, let's move that over here. Let's move that over here. Alright, I am going to actually put some new black paint on there because that's all crusted over. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to, I don't normally do this, but I don't want to get my white messed up. I'm just gonna lay that down on a piece of parchment. Because I have, this is a silicone mat, However, it's got like little, you know. So I just want to paint the back. I want to paint the whole thing. Not everything's going to show, but you can use butcher paper. You can use anything. Why is this not wanting to be? There we go. It wants to curl up. I normally would paint all my backs first just to have it done and out of the way so that whatever you do on the front doesn't get messed up. So I'm holding this down so it doesn't move while I'm painting. Good there. Let me get the black off my finger. And no, it's not because I don't want to be dirty. Just so I don't put it on something else. Then the front. Let me get this dried real quick. And then we can start putting it together. That to the side here. And I'm going to take, yeah, we're good. We can always wipe that off. Alright, I'm going to work this way so you can see everything, but we're just going to place our pieces on here. Before I glue, I want to make sure everything is done correctly. Tape. Now this is I should have showed you that. This is gonna go here. So when I was talking earlier about don't just pull this off, pull the tape off, do it this way. So this is a nice thick piece, but if you just rip that off, you can break it, especially if it's fragile. So just kind of let's see what's next. This piece is next. Put this down in here. And then this piece goes in here. I just make sure I have all the pieces. This is his nose. His earpiece goes there. His earpiece goes here. That piece is done. Now, the other thing I'm not going to take off yet is his eyes, but this is going to go over here, and the little berries. So I'm going to leave his eyes on there so they don't get lost, and then his nose goes there. So that's what we have so far. I know he's missing his eyes, but then the piece that is here that we just painted black, we're going to put this on top of, just like that. And that's going to go across here, just like so. And you can decide where you want to put it, how you want to put it, where it gets the most support. I'm going to put it over a little bit more. Maybe bring it down some. I'm going to judge where I'm going to put that. I think I want it to come up here, like just between, so that the Christmas is kind of off his head. Something like that. But we're going to decide that. First thing we're going to do is glue it together. So now I know I have all my pieces. So I am going to take this back off. And his nose is off. These are all my bottom pieces. We can take his ear pieces and put them to the side. I think I'm going to start with the bottom and work the way up. So I am going to use just wood glue by Super Glue Wood Glue. I'm just going to pick all these pieces off. We're going to work from the bottom and up. Now, do take your time doing this. You want to make sure everything, it's got a big hole. Everything has glue. Everything stays down. You don't require a lot of glue, but I do want to make sure that every edge gets some glue, especially on pieces like this. I'm not putting a whole lot on there. And we're going to see if that's going to work. So what we're going to do is put this down first. And we're going to get it all nice and lined up. Next piece we're going to put in, make sure it fits in here right. Looking good, looking good. Do the same thing. Just going around the edge first. And then we're going to stick this down. Now when I send kits out, I do have an inspiration picture that goes with it, mainly for projects like this where you may, oh, what is that? Where does that go? Oh, what piece is that? I want to make sure you know exactly where everything goes. And then when it pushes out the side like this, we're just going to take a little wipey. Just get some of that off. This will dry clear, so don't freak out. Get a nice good squeeze. Make sure everything is down. And then we're going to go up, keep building our way up. And it should all just line up perfectly. Take your time. Make sure it's all nice and even. Next piece. Just want to make sure everything is where it needs to be. And if you have this little wood clamps kind of thing, you can use those too. Get a little antler on. Sure have it on there. I like how it's sitting. I guess that's all right. Good, 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 good. All right. Next piece. Now, I am not going to put a hanger on this yet because I'm not sure if I want to use it as a leaner or if I want to put a hanger on it. Leaving my options open for that. Okay. Now, for this, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in here and a little bit of glue in here. I'm going to make sure we put the right ear into the right place, in the right way. So far we're there. Same thing with this piece. I'm just going to put a lot of glue down here. And we're just going to simply tuck this in. Come on, go in. There you go. Let's say go in there. There we go. Be nice, you go in there. All right, next we got our little noses. We got a big nose and we got a little nose. Now I'm going to put the eyes on so I know exactly where I want to put the noses. So he gets the bigger eyes. And he gets the little eyes. Let's take that off. I always like to kind of place things so I know I'm not putting the nose in the wrong place. I think I'm going to do right there. So let's just put some glue. Right about there. And then I am going to take like a little, I have with these little makeup brushes. Put a little bit of glue down. And then I'm just going to grab some and dot, dot, dot on the back. Same for this one. Now, don't be overly concerned, but if there's a lot of glue on the edge, just get it because it will look clumpy. But it will dry clear. All right, now we got this little guy. Let's get his little nose on. And then his little eyes are just going to go right out there. So we're going to do the same thing. I still have some glue on the table. Grab some of that glue, a little clumpy. Adorable. Now you could finish here. You don't even have to put the Merry Christmas on if you don't want to. But, oh no, we're not finished. We gotta put this on. What you talking about? Wait a minute, we forgot this. Now I'm gonna put this kind of right there, I think. And then the berries are going to go right on top. Now, if you wanted to finish right here, you could stop and you could just have yourself a little reindeer and Santa, but I am going to finish it off. I'm trying to think if I do want to do it. I think I'll do it this way. I'm just going to go, and this is where you want to be careful. Now you do not need glue on every single letter. I'm putting it on a little bit here, a little bit there. Make sure you have it where you want it. Push it around till you get it to where you want it. I think. So, now in order to put this on, we're only going to have a couple contacts. I think I'm going to put it like right about there. So I've got my most of my C on there, and I've got this part over here. That's it. That's all that's going to be touching. So, with that being said, we're going to put some glue over here, and we're going to put some glue Now, this is where you want to make sure you let this dry before you start shimmying it around, and because like I said, there's only two parts. Now, this wood glue will hold very, very strong. It will not hold a man in midair for, you know, how that super glue commercial went back in the day. But after 24 hours, this thing is very, 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 very strong. So that's why I like to use this. You can use anything you want. There is this, what's this other stuff here? Tight Bond. A lot of people use that. Look, the thing's falling again. Other wood glues you can use. However, now I will have wood. I'll have glue on the back, and that's fine. We can just take some of that off. Now, this is going to dry white. If this bothers you at the end of the day, when it's dry, you can go back in and you can paint it. So, but that's it. That's all there is to it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I think it turned out amazing. Let me know what you guys think. So, that's it. It's done. I'm going to let it completely dry for the night. And then I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for being here.